If your estrogen is too high, you are going to deal with very heavy periods, mood swings, tenderness in the breasts, very intense PMS symptoms, a lot of weight gain around the hips and the thighs, migraines, headaches. If your estrogen is too low, you are going to deal with irregular or missing periods, low libido, vaginal dryness. Let's get it all balanced. Hi, I'm Healthy Emmie. I'm a nutritionist, the creator of the Slim program and Slim supplements. So if you want a vitamin B12 and a vitamin D3 to make sure that you are totally taken care of if you eat a plant-based diet and you have to supplement with those because you're not going to get adequate amounts from your food, then you can check the link out in this description. Of course, always consult with a healthcare provider. And if you want to start your journey for $1 a day and get a custom meal plan, custom workout plan, and access to the Slim course so that you can reach your goals and achieve the body of your dreams, click the link in the down bar to get started in my Slim program. $1 a day, come on. The hormones that we're gonna be talking about today are estrogen, progesterone, insulin, cortisol, thyroid, leptin, ghrelin, and melatonin. I'm gonna tell you exactly what symptoms you experience when these are out of balance and the lifestyle habits that you can begin to put them back into balance. Let's get started with estrogen. As I eat this apple while filming, increase your fiber. Fiber binds to estrogen and helps excrete excess estrogen. So when it's in the gut, as opposed to you reabsorbing it, the fiber is gonna help pull it out in your stool so that it doesn't get reabsorbed and continue to increase the amount of estrogen that you have. It's shown that high fiber diets can reduce estrogen by up to 10 to 25%. Next, increase your intake of these guys, cruciferous veggies. The sulforaphane that's in here is going to support your liver detox pathways and allow your body to better metabolize the estrogen that floats around in your system. Your body's gonna be better at processing estrogen, clearing out the excess. So if you have symptoms like heavy periods or intense PMS symptoms, increase your consumption of cruciferous veggies, which are broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, broccoli rabe. This guy's, he's gotta get the boot for now. Alcohol is processed by the liver. The liver's job is to help with getting rid of all that excess estrogen and detoxing. So if your liver is focusing on this, it's not going to have enough energy to deal with the estrogen as well, because this is the top priority, because this is a poison. It is a toxin. So if you want to support your estrogen levels because you have too high of estrogen, you have really heavy periods, intense PMS symptoms, you gotta get rid of this. In here, we've got some miso, which is a fermented food, great for the gut. And this is so important to support your gut health because the gut decides whether the estrogen is going to be absorbed or excreted. When your microbiome is diverse and you're eating things like miso, kimchi, vegan kimchi, anything that's fermented, tempeh, then you are adding good bacteria into the gut, which is going to better decide and have better judgment over what to do with the estrogen that's in there. Eat those fermented foods. Something else that is closely tied to your hormones is hair loss. I know a lot of women that struggle with hair loss, and I want to share with you guys what I have been taking recently. This is Shed's 3-in-1 hair capsule. So if you're struggling with hair loss, I would highly recommend that you check this out. I will link it down below. I also have a discount code for you guys, but it's so simple. Just take one of these capsules every day. And if you're struggling with hair loss, then you'll see fuller hair. And if you're somebody who wants to prevent hair loss and keep nice, full, healthy hair, then check out Shed. Like I said, I'll link it down below, 30% off, no pressure. But if you have been looking for help in this arena, then I hope that this found you at the right time. When progesterone is too low, women are dealing with difficulty conceiving, holding a pregnancy, insomnia, anxiety, cycles that are very short, shorter than 26 days. High progesterone is usually not something that we're gonna see. So let's talk about how to increase progesterone. When you're chronically stressed, there's a part of your brain called the hypothalamus that will downregulate and even shut down, and then ovulation gets disrupted. Progesterone gets disrupted and stays low, so you're not able to have a regular normal cycle. And for women that are trying to conceive, aren't able to hold on to a pregnancy because progesterone is low due to the disrupted communication between the brain and the ovaries. I'm taking breaks to eat this apple while I film this video. to make sure that I don't undereat on this busy filming day. Progesterone is a luxury hormone. Your body's only going to produce enough of it when it feels safe. So in order to reduce that chronic stress on the brain that we talked about, you have to make sure that you're giving your body enough fuel and you're eating enough and not making excuses. It'd be so easy for me to make an excuse right now that I have to film, which I do have to do, but I also have to eat. I always talk about getting enough carbs, but I do want to also talk about getting enough protein as well, and making sure you have a nice variety of protein. These are all 20 grams of protein. We have hemp hearts, lentils. This is black bean soup. There's 20 grams of protein in this 1 cup. We have tofu, broccoli, edamame. Edamame is a great thing for female hormones as well. I can't believe I didn't talk about that, but I feel like I talk about that a lot. How soybeans, half a cup of soybeans daily is fabulous for regulating estrogen. But making sure that you're getting in an adequate amount in a variety of different protein sources, because your body's ability to actually soak up the amino acids that these proteins break down into, the bioavailability of this protein changes based on where the source comes from. So making sure that you're getting a wide variety to make sure that your body is getting enough of the protein. Just because it comes in, just because you're eating it, doesn't necessarily mean that you're absorbing it. I come to you in front of my new daybed, which doesn't have a mattress. My mattress is coming soon. But talking about the importance of getting enough deep sleep. When you sleep deeply, this is when your body does its housekeeping. It cleans up what it needs to clean up, and it regulates your hormone levels as well. A lot of different hormones get regulated only in deep sleep. It's actually been shown that circadian disruption, if you're a shift worker, unfortunately, this is a pattern that has been seen, that circadian disruption, aka not aligning your sleep schedule with the natural way of the sun and the moon and getting into a deep sleep, is shown to be connected to reproductive hormone irregularities. When insulin is too high, we deal with weight gain, especially around the belly, intense cravings, energy crashes, acne, PCOS symptoms, difficulty losing weight. And it's usually the case that insulin is too high. So let's talk about how to make sure that your insulin stays stable. It all comes back to the apple that I'm eating during this video, huh? If you struggle with your blood sugar absolutely spiking, then you're gonna do better having smaller meals throughout the day to keep that blood sugar balanced and not going too long without eating. Why I'm having this apple right now, because I don't want to go too long without eating, and then when I do eat a ton of food and have a huge spike in my blood sugar. On top of that, you want to make sure that you have a source of protein at your meals. So I showed you all these different sources before, but the protein is going to help with blunting the insulin response and keeping your blood sugar more steady. So you're not going to have this huge spike in blood sugar, which is going to cause a crash and then make you crave more food later on. By making sure that you have a source of carbohydrates, protein, and healthy fats, you're going to keep that meal nice and balanced and allow your blood sugar to be released in a more stable manner and not have your insulin spike, crash, and then have you have really intense cravings. It all comes back to the walking pad. You guys know I love my walking pad. This is so helpful for regulating insulin after meals. If you work from home, this is my walking pad. It folds up. I will link a walking pad down below if you want to get one. Truly, this is a life-changing thing to have in your house. You put it under your desk, and after you have your lunch, you can walk for just 10 minutes. It's been shown time and time again through studies how significant the impact is of even a 10-minute walk after a meal for lowering your blood glucose and helping regulate your insulin levels. And if you can't get one of these, do this. This is gonna get the muscles activated and allow the sugar that's in your blood to go into your muscles and be used for energy as opposed to just sitting in your blood. So that's gonna help with lowering your blood glucose. If you can't walk on a pad, just walk in place. Behind me, and actually in front of me and everywhere, is a huge mess that I have to clean up since today is filming day and I just have stuff everywhere. So let me tell you a little hack. It's gonna help you out. Skeletal muscle is the biggest glucose sink. If you don't have enough skeletal muscle, if you don't have enough muscle mass, then all the sugar that's in your blood, it's like, well, what are we supposed to do here? You know, our purpose is to deliver energy to the cells and to allow you to use that energy. And when you have muscles that require energy, it's metabolically active tissue, then everything that you're eating, the blood sugar that's floating around in your system, gets put to use. My camera passed away temporarily, just in time. The battery died. But increasing skeletal muscle, this does two things. First, it's help increasing skeletal muscle, and the more skeletal muscle you have, the less work that has to be done to clear glucose from the blood. Skeletal muscle actually has these little transporters that help with clearing glucose from the blood. And so the more muscle you have, the more of those little transporters you have to take that sugar and put it to use. And the second thing is that the more weight you have on you, the more energy you require to operate. So if you're wearing these are 2 pounds each, adding another 4 pounds onto you, you're going to need more energy to do your daily tasks, i.e. helping clear out that blood sugar, regulating your insulin levels. Cortisol, the stress hormone, usually it's the case that it is way too high. And with that comes belly fat, anxiety, insomnia, feeling what we call tired but wired, sugar cravings, irregular cycles, hair thinning. So how can we lower that cortisol? This is my little tea station. I drink tea, I don't drink coffee, but I want to speak to if you are drinking coffee first thing in the morning. Your cortisol is naturally highest at the beginning of the day. This is what helps you wake up, and then it's lowest at night, which is another reason why people do a lot of stress eating at night, because their cortisol is lower, which is another reason why people overeat a lot at night, because they feel more relaxed, their inhibitions are lower, they just want to eat. But your cortisol is highest in the morning, and if you drink coffee within 1 to 2 hours of waking, you're keeping your cortisol elevated. So I know that this is a touchy subject, but for individuals that are really focused on lowering their cortisol levels, making sure that you're delaying your coffee intake until after you've had breakfast is a wise thing to do. As you can tell by the terrible lighting, I have my blinds open this morning. Let's get that lighting back in check. I open the blinds in the morning to get morning sunlight, and then I put the blinds down in the afternoon and toward the end of the day. After lunch, actually around lunchtime, I like to start to put them down. Light is the main signal for your circadian clock. Your inner circadian rhythm is directed by light. And this is why, when we have screens up at nighttime, we're really disrupting the hormonal balance of things like cortisol and like melatonin. But as I just mentioned, with cortisol being highest in the morning, we want to train our body to be high in cortisol at the beginning of the day when it's supposed to be. It is supposed to be elevated at the beginning of the day, and then to naturally let that decline. And the circadian rhythm and our exposure to light is something that's going to tell our body, okay, now is the time for it to be high, and now is the time for it to be lower. So this is why I open the blinds in the morning, and then after lunchtime, I put the blinds down to signal to the brain we're getting toward later in the day so we can drop those cortisol levels. This also works for melatonin too, which we'll talk about in a bit, but making sure that you're getting sunlight first thing in the morning so that your melatonin does not stay. Your melatonin is supposed to be highest at night, but for people that are shift workers and all over the place, sometimes their melatonin is high in the morning, and light suppresses melatonin. Another reason why having these screens in front of your face right before you go to bed is not a great idea, because that suppresses melatonin. So making sure that you get sunlight first thing in the morning and then easing off of your light exposure later in the day will help regulate your melatonin. I am going to do a meditation from the Slim program. So if you're in my Slim program and you're in the annual plan, the master plan, you have access to a daily meditation with me. So I'm going to pull that up right now. And the reason being, as it relates to hormones, is that the chronic fight or flight state is going to keep our cortisol elevated. So if we can get our body into rest and digest, into the parasympathetic nervous system, we're going to tell our body that it's safe and that it doesn't have to be so alert with all this cortisol and adrenaline and just killing our adrenals. So in the Slim program, daily meditations, we also have daily journal topics, which is a great way to get back in touch with the body. Your thyroid hormone, it's estimated that in women over 65, about 20% of women have sluggish hormones. And for women younger than that, in the 35 to 65 region, we're looking at about 13%. So it's not uncommon. When you're hypothyroid, which means that your thyroid isn't sending the signal, your TSH is usually very high, thyroid stimulating hormone, because it's screaming at the thyroid to do something. This is when women struggle with a sluggish metabolism. And for a woman whose thyroid hormone is off, they're absolutely going to have weight gain as a side effect of that. If you're in a pursuit to look like this, we need to talk, because your thyroid is not going to be happy about that. When you are in a state of chronic depletion, if you have been extremely restrictive with your eating habits, it's often the case that your thyroid becomes suppressed as well. So of course we want to nourish our body and we want to eat to nourish our body, but on top of that, focus on building muscle, building lean muscle mass. This is metabolically active tissue. This body is going to be, the thyroid in this person is so much happier than the thyroid in this person. This hack does not have to do with my Instant Pot that I just steamed potatoes in. It has to do with this, Dulse. I'm gonna take some. If you are currently taking thyroid medication, iodine can consult a healthcare provider before you do this, because iodine can affect that. But if you're somebody that wants to keep your thyroid happy and healthy, iodine is hugely important. In fact, an iodine deficiency is what can lead to issues with the thyroid. So I'll link this down below. This is Dulse, but you don't have to get this one. You could get kelp, you could get kombu flakes. I do recommend getting organic, but this, for example, 1 teaspoon has 130% of my daily iodine needs, and because I don't eat salt, it's great to use this. So I literally eat it like a fish. It tastes very fishy. I enjoy it. While we're on the topic, we talked about iodine, but some other things that you want to be cognizant of making sure you get enough of are selenium and zinc. Great source of selenium is just to eat 1 Brazil nut a day. Leptin and Ghrelin, your hunger and fullness hormone. Leptin is the hormone that makes you feel full. Ghrelin is the hormone that makes you feel hungry. So when your leptin is too low, you're not gonna feel full. And when your ghrelin is too high, you always feel hungry. Your hunger, fullness hormones are all out of whack if you're not eating regularly. So it's 10:59 right now. I have a meeting at 11:30. It's scheduled for 11:30 to 12:30. By the way, I absolutely love my caraway knives. I'll link them below. But I have a meeting that is scheduled for 11:30 to 12:30. And I know that if I have this meeting until 12:30 and then I haven't started making my lunch, I want to bake these things, like it'll take me from start to finish, it might be 45 minutes before the lunch is ready, I'm going to be too hungry and my leptin will be unfortunately suppressed. Because if you go too long without eating and then you signal to your body that you are in a place of scarcity with food and you don't know when it's coming, I mean, your mind knows when it's coming, but your body doesn't know when it's coming, then your leptin hormone is suppressed. This is why when you wait too long to eat, you know when you wait too long to eat and then you just eat way more than your body probably needed and you just like feel like you can't get full, that's because leptin is getting suppressed. So like I said, I have this meeting in a half hour, but I'm gonna prep everything now so that after the meeting, I don't have to wait too long to eat and then I'm not too hungry, because if I'm too hungry, my ghrelin is too high and it turns into a mess. So the tip here is to make sure you're eating regularly. Don't wait too long to eat. If you wait too long to eat, you are increasing your hunger hormone and you're suppressing your fullness hormone. I also have here edamame that I'm gonna have with my meal, and it's making sure that, why am I having that? Because yes, I always have vegetables, I always have carbs, I always have starch, but making sure that you have a source of protein as well. This is related to the idea that protein is one of the most satisfying macronutrients, but also making sure that you're satisfying the nutrient receptors on your stomach. I eat a lot of vegetables, I eat a lot of starch, it's a lot of volume, but you have to make sure that you're nutritionally satisfying the receptors on your stomach that detect, is this carbs, is this protein, is this fat? And I love edamame because it's a great source of protein, but also a great source of fat. So making sure that your meals have a source of carbohydrates, protein, and fat, along with your veggies. This just came out of the dishwasher. I promise you it is clean. It is just stained. It gets a lot of use. It's had a lot of love. These are my caraway pans, non-toxic cookware that I absolutely love. I'll link those down below. But also with leptin and ghrelin, making sure that you are not eating processed foods. Processed foods are engineered, they're designed to override your body's satiety mechanisms and make you eat a lot more than your body truly needs, because it doesn't play on the built-in biological features that we have to detect whether or not we've had enough food. It pulls on our brain chemistry. So when you eat vegetables, your body registers that by, like I talked about, your stretch receptors and your nutrient receptors. It's going to say how much volume did we have, what is the quality of this food. Great. It doesn't play marionette with your body's dopamine receptors. But when you eat processed food, unfortunately, that's exactly what happens. It pulls on the dopamine receptors of your brain like a marionette, and it makes you feel like fireworks have gone off. So processed foods are not serving us. Melatonin is one that is chronically low in individuals that struggle with sleep, falling asleep. When you don't have enough melatonin, you're going to struggle with insomnia, falling asleep, staying asleep, and getting a nice deep sleep. When afternoon comes, you're going to see me doing this. A little bit of this situation. Melatonin is suppressed by light. So after lunch, I put my shades down to make sure that my melatonin, as the day goes on and melatonin is starting to be produced, I allow that to happen. Something else that I do, I wear blue light blocking glasses. I wear these at work all day when I'm on my computer, because blue light signals to the brain that it's daytime because the sky is blue. And we get so much blue light from these devices that wearing blue light blocking glasses is going to allow melatonin to be produced. There are also glasses that you can wear at nighttime that have more of an orange tinge that, once again, are going to allow melatonin to be produced. I actually have one pair of blue lights for when I'm working, and then I have another pair of blue lights that I wear at the end of the day to help signal to my brain that work is over, it's time to wind down at the end of the day, and that's something that I'm very serious about. Hey guys, as I'm making my plate here, you might be wondering, how am I supposed to build my plate for my body and my goals? And I have a free plate builder calculator that's going to answer that question for you. So I'll link it down below. You put in, it's a very short quiz. You put in some information about you, and it's going to tell you exactly how to build your plate, like I said, for your unique body and goals. So get that in the description bar. I hope that you honeys enjoyed today's video. If you made it to this point of the video, I want you to comment a pink emoji. It's going to be a very cute comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next one that pops up on the screen. I'm also going to have a video that pops up on the screen that tells you all about my Slim program if you're interested in learning more about that. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video.